This episode is sponsored by Basin Audio. Whether you're a musician, DJ, or producer, Basin delivers excellent balanced sound for any professional application. The advanced multi-driver monitor system ensures pristine sound quality across the entire frequency spectrum. I've been using the Beemaster 5 in-ear monitors, and the noise cancellation is perfect for when I perform live. If you want to experience top-tier audio, use my code KXPBASIN for 10% off your next order at Basin Audio. That's KXPBASIN for 10% off your next order. Elevate your sound today. Thanks again for Basin Audio. And now, on to the show.
Hey, we're Sheoru, and you're listening to the Kevin Powell Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Kevin Powell Podcast. My name's Kevin Powell. I love talking to bands. Wow, I think I say that every time I do this, but it's true. I love talking to bands, and I got this really cool setup now. Six Deep was my first one with the almost done, and now it's kind of done. It will never be done, is what I'm getting at. I will continue to update this setup forever until the day I die. But nonetheless, still love talking to bands, and I want to get a band out to you guys. That way, maybe you'll discover your next favorite band. Who knows? But right now, I have a band with me, and you know what? I'm just going to let them introduce themselves because I'm scared of mispronouncing this band name, even though we rehearsed it 3 times. So, hello, everybody. Why don't you go and unmute? Tell me who you guys are. How's everyone feeling?
Hi, we are Sheoru, and I'm Thalia.
Hello.
My name is Danny.
And I'm Tim.
What's everyone do in the band?
I'm the vocalist, lead vocalist, harshest cleans.
I play or attempt to play guitar.
I also attempt to play guitar alongside Danny.
So I maybe I have this conversation every time I talk to bands too. It seems like social media really just helps with everything now. Like, I don't know if you remember, like 10 years ago, everyone's like, social media bad, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, this is how we met. We just randomly met, I think, through a comment, and I was like, hey, let's talk. And here we are talking. So heck yeah, Sheoru. Hey, I got the name right. Let's go. So where are you guys from? We have 3 separate rooms, so maybe you're not all in the same area. Where are you guys from?
I'm actually from Richmond, Virginia. That's where I am right now.
I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Go Birds.
And I'm originally from California, but currently in Boston.
Okay, so definitely all over the place. And what about the other guys in the band?
The last 2 are also in Richmond.
Okay, so you have the home team advantage. No, I'm kidding. So, so how does this work? How do you guys get together? How does the writing process go? I mean, we're going to dive into your new EP here in a minute, but like, there's some distance between you. How do you guys make it work?
A lot of traveling. I think at this point we've done road trips with like every combination of bandmate. We've all like had opportunities to do the like 4.5-hour drive from Philly to Boston or Philly to Richmond or Richmond to Boston. We've done some good combinations of that, and also the internet.
Lots of group chats and lots of FaceTimes. That's how everything gets done.
So group chat, FaceTime, some traveling. How long is the traveling?
We do our best to be super efficient with our trips. So obviously we're not like, weekend, let's just hang out and play the set one time. We kind of plan them out like months in advance. So we do a lot of writing virtually. And then we're like, all right, time to track all of the guitars. Let's pick a week we're all free and get together wherever that happens to be convenient. And if there's stuff that we can stack on, for example, like playthrough videos, we'll track guitars and film playthrough videos at the same time, or, you know, writing vocals and filming music videos. We try to be super scheduled and regimented with our time when we do make those trips, because it's an investment, you know.
Is there like a main practice place, or is it just kind of like wherever you guys end up?
This is a fun question, because we are just about to play the set all the way through together for the first time. Because of this virtual nature, like, everything so far was writing, and then when we record individually. And so for the first time, we are about to borrow a friend's house in Jersey Actually, Valentine's weekend, we're all going to Jersey and we're going to borrow a friend's house and play through the set a couple of times. So that's coming up and we're really excited about that.
Okay, so I'm sure that brings a little bit of nervousness. So what were you guys doing before? Just kind of going to Virginia or going to wherever? Or is
It's
this?
kind of nice to have that spread, right? Because like
Yeah,
we have so many options. We're not working with one city for video shoots. We have the three, and that's been something that we try to take advantage of also for sure.
I love that. I hope that if you're a starting off musician watching this, that you're taking some notes because being efficient is the way to go. Like you said, it's not all right, we're going to practice through a set kind of once,
I'm gonna order Chinese food and hang out, man. Like,
which there's nothing wrong with, but at the same time,
yeah.
like we got stuff to do. And, props to you guys because I'm sure you guys all have jobs of some sort and you got hobbies you want to do and this and that. And I have cats, so I have to take care of them. So it's like it's a whole process to get everything together and get everyone together and especially on the same page. So props to you guys on that. So I do want to talk about the new EP. And right before, like when I was driving and I was lifting, I was listening to a few songs off of Vantage. So what I really enjoyed was Project 8 and Ruin. I want to start with the guitar players this time because, man, the guitar work on this is pretty good. And I don't know what tuning you guys use, but I love the low ones. You guys got it. Production's great. So why don't you guys tell me a little bit about the new EP?
Danny, you want to start?
Sure. It's kind of like what we do. We kind of take because I know like old school like metalheads, they kind of stick to a tuning. Growing up, we'd listen to thrash metal and like everything is in like E standard or half step down. But for us, we definitely hop all over the place. This is a testament to Dolly also, having that range. But yeah, no. So for those songs in particular, Project 8. Tim, do you recall what tuning that is? It technically is a 9-string tuning.
I believe it is double drop C or double drop D. One of the two.
Even
So
better.
Very low.
Very low.
Yeah, and then Ruin is actually one of the higher ones at drop F.
So anytime. This is a rare occasion where I get to talk about 9-string guitars. This camera will show it. This one, I'm just going to bust it out because, So I have the very cool Legator Josh Travis signature. And I just told the story with 60 about acquiring one of 2 ESP guitars with one-head Fishman, one-head EMG pickups, custom made for Josh Travis himself, and I have one of them. So anytime 9-string is brought up, my ears are perked. So heck yeah. Okay, good. I knew I liked the songs, but now I know really why. Now with writing and recording and all that stuff, what can you guys share about how you like mindset, how you went into this? You could, as a band collectively, individually, anything like that.
Start us off, Danny, because this started a lot with you, with your work.
Yeah. This is like a rabbit hole, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Zev, he used to be like the drummer of our band, but now he's taking a step back. He's taking the role of a producer. But him and I, we always rave about pop music. I mean, anything like outside of the metal realm. I feel like there's always like this range, right? It's like explored through like electronic instruments, like 808s, right? And like obviously the metal genres kind of came onto that eventually, with the 9-string that you mentioned before. With this EP specifically, the big thing was like, all right, so like for the heavier songs like that, since we love kind of like popular music anyways, we kind of wanted to bring that element to like into the metalcore environment. So for like Project 8, for example, right? Like for those types of songs, we always try to set challenges for ourselves, but for that song and some other songs specifically, we try to make the catchiest song we can with the lowest tuning we can. It sounds so ridiculous, but like, you have to like set challenges like that for yourselves, right? And that's where like creativity is born for us. But yeah, so all the songs literally on this EP, like they all, like I take great pride in that every single song has an identity just from the instrumentals, right? So before Thalia even touches the songs, right? All of them instrumentally, they have like their own thing. So that's what we do in terms of like writing. The lower tunings just so happens to be, what's in. That's just what keeps us interested and keeps our interest peaked right now. But yeah, so that's what we do. Arrangement wise, we're very like pop structured in that sense. Verse, chorus, repeated sections. Your nasty breakdown. The good stuff. But yeah, so like all these songs, we definitely arrange and compose the best that we can, and then we, let Thalia look at these songs and let her touch it how she does.
And Thalia, how do you do that?
So this EP was like my favorite writing experience of all time. The challenge for me was that all the instrumentals were written before they even knew that I was going to be in the band. Initially, I started with Sheoru on the song You Now Know as Vantage as a feature. So that was like the original kind of how I started working with this band. And then that went really well. And I started transitioning to being the primary vocalist. And I had these tracks that it was a style I had never done before. I've never screamed on a recording until I recorded Hook, Line, Sync. Like that was a first for me. And so Danny was talking a lot about how you have to keep yourself challenged, and I certainly was. So I took these tracks, and what I liked about it was that the stuff that Tim and Danny and Zev had written, like, made me feel something. So without even having vocals on there, I knew what the songs were about. So I would listen to them, and I would start picturing the story or what it was saying in my mind, and then start writing from there. Usually I hearing a song through, I'll come up with like a melody, and I'm like, great, let's build on that. But for me, the best part of this was writing with Zev. Zev is an awesome producer. And so being in the room with him while I'm writing these parts and like singing a part for the first time, and then having him do some quick production moves to like make it sound like a song was amazing for my creativity flow to have him flesh out the song as I'm writing it. And that really helped give me direction as I was going.
Don't you love that? I don't know how many producers you've worked with or anything like that, but producers, they sometimes are the extra member of the band. And I love when producers can, you pitch them an idea, here's kind of what we're going for, and they're like, okay. And in person, over like, I don't know, just sending it off to whoever to do whatever they want with, there's a 9-day difference, because now, yes, they can help you with, I'm kind of stuck on this chorus. What do you think? And yeah, your band members have opinions, but like a producer can really be like, what if you tried this? And you're like, it's a dumb idea. It'll never work. And then it does work. And you're like, I love it. I love you. Everything's great.
Well, even one thing that happened with Zev working remotely, this was before I had met him in person, I think, like in this band capacity. I had recorded a demo. And he was like, great, send me the vocal tracks so that I can mix them in. And so I sent him just the vocals, and things hadn't been, I think the placement got off when I was sending him the vocal tracks. And so he placed vocals differently in the demo that he sent back to me than I had originally intended for them to be. And we ended up sticking with that. It was just sort of like a happy accident of he heard something that I didn't. I think what we actually did was we took half and half. So we used half his idea and half my idea. And we took this half and half that honestly, would somebody hearing it be like, wow, that's a really interesting thing that they did that? Probably not, but like it was fun for us. And it was just a happy accident that happened.
And you guys love it. So it all worked out.
Yeah.
Guitar players, what was your input with this producer? Did you guys go back and forth like with her, or like what'd you guys do?
So I'll take the reins on this one, Tim, if you don't mind. So Zev is local to Philly here. So whenever he's not on tour, he's home. We're always bugging, right? To like find time to like, hey, let's get in a room. Let's call Tim. Let's write. It's like, all right, man, I don't think I got anything, but let's figure it out. We get into a room, call up Tim. So, all right, this is what we're working on. And usually I'm surprised most times myself. Like, hey, what does come out is a lot better than I thought it was. So we have like a lot of different methods, if you will, about like writing guitar parts. But Zev also does this thing where he works a lot with MIDI instruments. So he would just MIDI out a riff, kind of like it's like the adverse, right? This time around, how how like guitar players would just MIDI out like a drum part, and we're like,
Yep.
all right, drummer, play this. He's like, all right, I'm gonna MIDI out some guitar. You guys play this. We're like,
Okay. A little bit of a challenge, but
So
okay.
yeah. So not all songs are like that, but some of them are. And yeah, it keeps Tim and I on our toes for sure. But if that's not the case, we usually like, hey, like we can switch this and that to make it a little more human, less MIDI, MIDI like. But yeah, that's usually the course of action, the how most ideas are kind of created. I just head over to Zev's house. We sit down, we call Tim, put on South Park in the background. I just,
Okay.
yeah, we catch a vibe and we just write and, see what we do. We can be spending like 3 hours on something and just not use it because, we're like, all right, well, we chased that dragon. It isn't what we're looking for, but.
Okay. Is there a main songwriter for the band, or is everybody contribute pretty equally? Different answers across all my interviews, so just figured I'd ask you guys as well.
Yeah, I would say we all contribute evenly for sure. Having someone like Zev is definitely priceless because he kind of has like an outside outlook. And same thing. So like if Zev has a demo, right, that he's feeling strongly about and he brings it to us, same thing. We all kind of pitch in ideas for arrangement composition, right? To see like what works. Oh, this idea is cooler, that type of thing. So we all kind of pitch ideas and kind of, make it into one song. And then we attempt to make it all cohesive.
Perfect.
Hey, this is Mikey from the band Snot, and you are listening to the Kevin Powell Podcast at iHeartRadio.
Right now I'm talking to Sheoru, and these guys have a new EP out right now. And Thalia, you mentioned something about, going into it with like a story. Now, what about like the subject and inspiration behind this EP? I'm sure you had full reins on this.
So the EP kind of came out, the whole thing being about a toxic cycle. And what I like about it is that each song, although the whole thing is about a toxic cycle, it ended up kind of being a full story with each song. If you kind of listen straight through, you get different parts of that cycle. But what I really appreciate about it is that each song is not necessarily written about the same thing. So like there are some songs about a relationship, a toxic relationship cycle, and that is something that you can get stuck in and then have a lot to say about. But there's a song that's about like the toxic relationship with like working. So Life or Death is actually about like, I was sick and tired of working. And I was like, am I just doing this every single day until I die, working all the time, and I'm never winning, and you can't get ahead, and like, that's what that song is about, is I was just sick and tired of working. Hook, Line, Sink is about, is a different perspective of the same toxic relationship of this time, instead of being the abuser in the relationship, essentially being the person who is manipulating and perpetrating the sort of toxicity. And when I wrote all of these songs, I heard them and I wrote about what I was hearing. So Project Date was one I was really stuck on. And one day I was in the car, I was like, let me just put the demo on, no pressure, see if somebody comes to me. And it made me think of this dream I used to have, like a recurring dream where I was just running away from something all the time, and I didn't know what I was running from or where I was going. And that's the words of the song. But and so I would wrote all these songs, and then the guys were like, so this is the order that we wrote them in. And when they put them in the order that they had intended them to be in, which I didn't really know, the story came out kind of full circle, with Vantage being the sort of break free song at the end, Ruin being the turning point, that point in the cycle where you are questioning what you're doing and begging yourself to kind of be free of it. You know, life, death is the part where you get mad. Hook, line, sink is the start of it, where you get hooked on this cycle. It ended up being like straight through the cycle, which I think is a testament really to the guys' storytelling through their instrumentals. You know, like I heard their instrumentals and I knew what they were saying, and then I put those words on it and it came out full circle the way that each person had intended when every song was written at every stage of the process.
I love it. Now, truth be told, I haven't listened front to back yet. I haven't had time, but because we just met. But now that I know that, when I go in, I'll have this subconscious like, okay, actually listen to the lyrics, actually figure out what the story is, and actually remember what she said. So thank you for sharing that.
Totally. Yeah. Let us know if that comes through to you too.
Sure. Also, you and I have to collab on hating work because no offense to certain people, but you're right. It's every day.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be kidding me. All right. I'm not going to rant for 5 minutes.
And granted, like I wrote that song because that's how I was feeling at the time. I was like, this sucks. There's no end in sight. I'm 23. Like it's only going to get worse from here. Like, oh my God. And I remember like I was in a spiral, and there was one day when I had a good day, you know, like the sun was shining, the birds were chirping. And I was like, guys, maybe it's not that deep. Like maybe it's not only life or death. Whoa. So bit of drama in there, but that's art, baby.
All right. Hands up if you work multiple jobs. Yeah. Shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't be the norm, but whatever. So if someone has never heard of you guys and are just now learning of you guys, how would you describe your sound to them? What's going to draw them in?
I always say that we are pop metal and that we like getting heavy. I usually talk to people that don't listen to metal. And so when somebody who doesn't listen to metal is like, you're in a metal band? I say it's pop metal. Okay, we've got melodies. You can sing along. You know, I'm not yelling at you the whole time. You can sing along, but we do like to throw down at Sheoru camp, you know?
What about guitar players?
I also work with a bunch of coworkers that don't listen to metal, so I always lead. We're a metal band, but we got things you can sing to and things you can get mad to.
Yeah, for me, anytime someone asks, they're like, "Oh, you're in a band?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "What kind of music you play?" I'm like, "Metal." They're like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "But it's like not metal. It's like catchy metal. Okay, it's like heavy pop metal."
You're like one of the Metallicas, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The number one answer.
Okay, wonderful. Now we have time, and I've never been able to do this yet. So first interview for you, and first time I get to do this. Who's ready for some actually off-the-wall fun questions? I am. All right, so I've been working with iHeart for 12, 13 years, right out of high school, and now I'm 30, so whatever. I have to give credit to the people I heard this from. I work with the ECHL, which is a hockey league directly under the NHL over on the East Coast. And this is from the Wheeling Nailers, and they always ask this question to their players. And I was like, you know what? I'm stealing it. So too bad. I'm stealing it. We're going to go around the room here. Who is the most famous person in your phone? And if you called them, would they answer?
Tim, you go first.
Man, famous person.
Full disclosure, I did not prep them with these questions beforehand. This is all fresh, so this is good.
Shall I go down the contact list?
Yeah, go through your contacts.
Oh, you know what? Right off the top there on an A. I would say kind of a hometown hero kind of thing is Adrian Oropeza from After the Burial.
Oh, wait.
We met a long
He plays
time
bass
ago.
now, right?
Yep, bass in After the Burial, yep.
I met him at, see, this is a great conversation starter. I met him at Incarceration last year, and he is a sweetheart. I actually interviewed him real quick, too. He's awesome. So, heck yeah.
He's amazing. He's helped me out on a school project before, actually. We met when I was, I think, mid-high school. I just was in the front row on the barricades of After the Burial show. They were opening up. He saw me going hard. I met him at the merch table, and then the rest is history.
If you were to call him right now, would he answer?
Ooh, that is.
Would he have any idea what the number is?
I'd say maybe 60-40 on maybe answering.
Okay, we're not doing it. It's just part of the question.
We'll find out later.
Danny, you go.
Jeez. Definitely, I don't know anybody. And I sure as hell don't have numbers. I'm more of a social media guy. But I would have to say Zev. I mean, Zev is the most famous person I know. And if I call, he better pick up. Pick up the phone call from your best friend, dude. Like so yeah,
having a producer ready to go is not a bad thing, so that's fine.
Right. Yeah, so he's definitely the most famous. So
I think he would laugh if he heard me say this, but I think one of the most famous people on my phone is Casey Soik. He plays bass in Harm's Way. And
okay.
I think he would pick up.
How do you know him?
I work at a music venue here in Richmond, and Harm's Way came through, and we became friends through music stuff. Just both being in bands, you know?
Isn't that cool? See, no one ever thought I asked this question, but it was fun. Didn't you guys have fun? I had fun. Any guilty pleasure artists, meaning, maybe it's not an artist that everyone looks at you and you're like, yeah, they probably listen to them. Like I have an obituary tank on, but most people wouldn't believe that I like listening to Billy Ocean. He has some hits. He does.
Tim?
Let's go reverse order for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a second.
It's the way you phrase that question is interesting because artists that people wouldn't expect me to listen to, I think are the metal bands I listen to. Like I feel like I don't give off a super metal band vibe. So like bands like Nails and Harm's Way, the hardcore stuff, I think people are going to see me and be like, "Are you sure?"
And just like that, because she mentioned Nails, or Thalia mentioned Nails, we're best friends because every time one of my clips, so a couple of my clips from Louder Than Life, I'm wearing this Nail shirt, and 95% of the comments are like, Nails mentioned, Nails, Nail shirt. I'm like, yes, I like Nails. They're one of my favorite bands.
Funny.
Anyways.
I think as somebody who like lifts and goes to the gym, Nails is a great band to like. Nails, Song of Sycamore, like the crazy ones, that helps you. Danny.
For me, I would say the most, it's not guilty for me, but other people would probably consider it.
Uh-oh.
I love Michael Bolton. Michael Bolton is the man. I love Michael Bolton. So
okay, why?
What do you mean why? Yeah, if I had the chance just to hear him sing me to sleep every night, I absolutely would. I would love that. I
did not see that coming, dude.
Yeah. I love Michael Bolton. What can I say?
It leaves you, Timmy.
I think I've got to give Thalia credit on this one. She put me onto Sabrina Carpenter more recently. I've been digging that. People don't expect that from me, but get that me espresso. Come on. I mean, that gets you moving.
Espresso came out when we were in Philly filming our music videos last year. And since then, it's been stuck in our heads.
Kevin, it's been downhill ever since.
You got any shaken espresso from Dunkin'?
No, I haven't tried it. I live in, I'm too far south to have Dunkins around here. You got to find a Dunkin'.
I live 3 doors down from one, and unfortunately, I still have not tried it.
All right, listen. You can't say you like Sabrina Carpenter and not try this drink. Now, you're going to get it, you're going to try it, and you're going to go, it's pretty good. And then you'll never get it again. That's what I did. But it's limited, so go get it. Dunkin', sponsor me. Anyways, what I'm going to do now is go back to regular programming with my questions because Zoom only gives you so long. Anyways, the question I asked toward the end of all my interviews, if you had any advice for bands just starting out, what advice would that be? Maybe they are just starting out and they're just a bunch of friends making music together and maybe they're going to do a show or two. Maybe they've been around for a couple of years and they just want to break through to the next part in life. I ask this question to every band, whether they're just starting out themselves. I've talked to like The Offspring. I've talked to like all kinds of bands in between. So I get all kinds of different answers. What's your advice?
Go for it, Tim.
All right. I'd say find each other's strengths. Everybody in the band find their strengths, and exploit it lovingly. I like to make fun of Thalia, but she's on her phone all the time, so she can see things pop up faster than I can. So we let her handle the online stuff for the most part. So if you've ever seen a comment come back from the band account, it's probably Thalia. She's got the bubbly personality, as you probably have seen today. So, yeah.
Well,
And
yeah,
then
we're best
Danny,
friends now. So.
creative and everything. Yeah.
Just like that. I think definitely take your time. It's easy because social media is so fast paced. It's easy to like get caught up and be like, all right, let's put something out. Let's do this. Next thing. But I definitely am guilty of this. And so it's good to have bandmates that balance you out. Take your time and put together a project that you are really proud of. Make sure that in every way, the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way that you promote it, make sure you're proud of like every step, everything that's gone into it. And then take your time when you put it out, let it sit out there. Let people take their time to find it, because even overnight successes are not overnight. The best new artist that wins Grammys, I mean, they've been working for 10 years. So, take your time, let things simmer, let people find them, and just make sure you promote yourself. It can be tough as a small artist and a little bit embarrassing sometimes to, I'm in a band. Oh, I'm in a band. But you have to be your biggest champion. So it's easier to promote yourself when you're proud of your project too. So
very well said all around. Do you guys have any final words for fans that either you just made or maybe people you've known for a long time? Any final words at all?
Thank you, everybody that has listened to us and has watched our videos or liked us on Instagram or commented. Thank you very much. That means a lot to us. Being a small band, every view, every like, every comment, every share, actually makes a huge difference. If you've just listened to us for the first time, thanks for taking your time to listen to us. We genuinely appreciate every single person that supports us in any way.
Thalia, Danny, Tim, appreciate a little bit of your time today. I'm going to talk to you here in a little bit off air. All right, guys, that was Sheoru. They have a brand new EP out right now. It's called Vantage. And, as Thalia said, there's a story in there. So you really need to listen and get into it. And I mean, hey, if you like pop and you like metal, well, you're going to like pop metal. And that's Sheoru. Appreciate everyone tuning into this episode of podcast. It's awesome that you guys do. I love doing this. So thank you. We'll see you guys next time.